Hi, welcome to Dux Soup and thank you for joining us. This masterclass will show you how to get started with Dux Soup, the #1 LinkedIn automation tool. Dux Soup is used by over 80,000 sales and marketing professionals, business owners and agencies to generate more leads from LinkedIn. So whether you're here for a refresher, you're trialing the tool, or just exploring what Dux Soup can do for you, this session will provide you with a process that you can follow to get you up and running and generate leads today. I'm Beth Baxter, and guiding you today is Dux Soup's Head of Professional Services, Giles Garnett. Giles will take you through live demonstrations that you can easily follow and refer back to. To access all of the features in the session, you just need to be running a free trial, which is available at dux-soup.com, or have a Dux Soup Turbo license. As we go, if you have any questions, please put them in the questions box and we'll answer them at the end. So, are you ready to get started? I'll pass you over to Giles.
Thank you, Beth, and hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you wherever you are in the world. And thank you once again for joining us today in our latest of our series of Dux Soup webinars. I can skip most of my introduction because Beth has kindly introduced me and herself, who works in the marketing team. So today we're going to go through how to get started with Dux Soup from a first-time installation all the way through to defining a campaign, getting prospects into a campaign, and then linking your data with your CRM. This webinar therefore is targeted towards Dux Soup users, new, pro, turbo subscribers. There's a little bit in there for everyone hopefully, and as usual there'll be a mix of slides and some live demos. If you've got questions, stick them in the question box, and Beth will do her best to answer what she can. If you've got other questions not relating to the webinar, you can always reach out to our support team via the email address that you can see there on screen. And as always, the webinar is being recorded and will be made available to you in the coming hours if you registered in advance and via our website and YouTube shortly as well. So let's crack on with the content of the webinar. So very quickly, this is our agenda. We're going to touch on what is Dux Soup for anyone who's new to it. We're going to do a first-time install of Dux Soup so you can see the process step by step as it goes through and show you how that looks from a user experience. We're going to talk about finding targets, finding prospects in LinkedIn and in Sales Navigator. We're going to define a campaign, show you how simple that can be done and how intuitive it is, hopefully, and step-by-step process. Then we're going to enroll some prospects into a campaign, show you how that can be done, look at some of the options there and how you can see how your campaigns are progressing through the Dux Dash. And then lastly, we'll touch on some data things around your CRM as well. So before we any further ado, let's crack on. So what is Dux Soup? It's a Chrome extension and it's compatible with other Chrome compatible browsers. Basically allows you to mimic human behavior on the LinkedIn platform, and it works on all three of the main LinkedIn platforms. That's the free version, the Sales Navigator version platform, and the Recruiter version. You basically define the list of prospects that you want to target, you call it list, and then you decide what you want to get Dux Soup to do, and you have a series of different options about which activities you want it to carry out. And remember, it's designed to mimic the human behavior. So from a keeping your LinkedIn account safe point of view, this is very, very important. I'm going to do one slide and then a bit of demo, and one slide and then a bit of demo today. So it's a little bit different. So hopefully it's not slideware overload. And yeah, we're going to have go through our checklist of 5 things to get you up and running as quickly as possible. So a first-time installation. What we're going to do is we're going to install Dux Soup from the Chrome Web Store. We're going to find our Google account. We're going to log in and we're going to install Dux Soup against there. A first-time install, you automatically qualify for a free 14-day trial of Dux Soup Turbo, and then we're going to show you how that process works. So let's come out of the slides and let's go to a Chrome account. So here we go. We've got a new Chrome account here. Oh, we put it on the other screen. It would be useful if it was on this screen, wouldn't it? There we go. So I'm logged into this Chrome account here. I've got this duxsoupdemo@gmail.com account, and I've logged on to my my LinkedIn account here. And if anybody is watching and wants to connect with me, very happy to connect with any Dux Soup users. If you're going to connect with me though, do mention you found me via Dux Soup, because then I'm more likely to respond to you quickly. But feel free to reach out and connect via LinkedIn. Very happy to interact with Dux Soup users. So here we are, I'm logged onto my LinkedIn account. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to install Dux Soup here. So I'm going to do that by going to the Chrome web store. Oh dear me. Tell you what, let's just go here. Let's go to the Chrome web store there, because it's just there. There we go. And here within the Chrome web store, I will now type in Dux Soup. And there we are at the top of the list there, Dux Soup for LinkedIn automation. We'll go here, and then we will now add this to this particular account. Now I could of course sign in with another account if I wanted to, but I'm going to install this against this particular account. I need to add the extension, accepting all of the conditions associated with that, allowing the various permissions. It'll now add Dux Soup to my extensions. And there we go. I have now enabled Dux Soup, and it's now going to take me to the app within Dux Soup there. Let's wait for this to load up. And we'll see any second now all of the information relating to Dux Soup. There we go. So there we are. I've now done a fresh install against this Chrome account, and we've got a dialog box here to help you to go through the various stages. Now this dialog box will pop up until you've clicked all the way through it. So it takes you through what each of the different sections are, your profile, what the drip campaigns are, what the funnel does, how the tag tool works, queued activity, the activity log, CRM connections, and also the Dux store. It shows you how to log out as well if you want to log out, and also where you can get support information down here in the bottom right hand side. So all of that, we can now say, okay, thank you, and let's go. So now it's going to take me to the campaign section where we can then go and do the campaigns. But before we do that, I'm going to click that one away. There we go. Click that away. Oh, there we go. I will just click there and we'll just accept that. Right. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we are actually going to pin our extension so that it's constantly here in our browser. So we there see in the top right hand corner. Now I'm on the 14-day trial here, so we can see here that the icon is turquoise. If you've got the free version, then the Dux Soup icon is black. If you've got the red version, if you've got the pro version, the Dux Soup icon there is red. So now we've installed Dux Soup and it's all ready to run and carry out my chosen activities against my LinkedIn account that I've logged on to here. So now that we've done that, let's head back to our slides. Let's go back here. And our next item on our checklist is basically how do we find our targets? So we've got Dux Soup there, it's all ready, and now we want to find our targets. Now there's a whole multitude of places we can go to in LinkedIn to create our list of targets. We can go to a search result, we can go to a lead list in Sales Navigator, we could go to a project list in Recruiter. You can see here some of the examples here, and if you head to our blog pages and do a look up there for lists, you'll find that blog that's there referenced there at the bottom of the page there. Basically any list of prospects where the Dux Soup icon then turns green, we can then run our chosen Dux Soup automated actions against. We can even create our own custom CSV files. And we've covered that a few times in previous webinars, and we'll probably come back to it in future webinars, but we don't have covered time to do that one today. But any of these lists here, I'll pop into LinkedIn and show you some of those examples. So let's go back to my my account here. So first of all, we could just carry out a very simple people search here in LinkedIn. We go and do a keyword search. We click on the people list so that we then are looking at a list of prospects here in LinkedIn. And what we should see in a second is when Dux Soup up in the top right hand corner recognizes this as a list, the icon will turn green and the pop-up will come up and say at your service. Sometimes it takes a few seconds just to pick up the data that's on the screen, and then hopefully it will start to recognize it. I think it's still turquoise at the moment. It always takes a little bit longer when you're watching it and waiting for it, but any second now that should turn green. Yeah, I'll tell you what we'll do. We've got 28 million results here. Let's narrow this search result down a little bit. Remember, you can use all sorts of different search terminologies. We can use Boolean search terms. We can use all sorts of other things in order to narrow our searches down and make sure we are targeting the right people. And that's a really important thing when it comes to building good quality lists. And we can also run, as well as a list such as this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open another tab, because I think then we might get a slightly quicker response. It might also be that I've got two accounts open at the same time here. I could also use, for example, a list such as this, people who've reacted to a post. There's enough, there you are, the icon's now turned green and said at your service. There's enough data in this list here to run Dux Soup against this list. So say a search list like this, a list of people who've reacted to a post. I could even go to an alumni list, or yeah, let's go to a company page. If we go to just a company page and we go to look at the page, and I go to the people section here, I could then now add a bunch of filters in here with regards job title and location. This is also a list that I can run my chosen Dux Soup activity against. I'm touching here mostly on the regular LinkedIn lists that we can look at, but I could also do exactly the same in Sales Navigator. If I go to Sales Navigator and I go to a search result here, or perhaps even a saved lead list. So if I go to my lead lists here, let's go in here and let's have a look at, yeah, I don't know, just some recommended leads. Again, I can run my chosen activity here. I just have to wait for the icon to turn green and say at your service. There we go. I can now run my actions against that list. So yeah, just wait for that to pop up, and then you can, yeah, your list, your options changed. Now, one of the things that we've done very recently as well is change the menu, the user interface for the menus in Dux Soup. So actually we now have a much more simplified menu. And what you'll see here, because I've got Dux Soup Turbo installed, my options are now basically to enroll prospects into a campaign. What we see is that Turbo users use campaigns and they only want to enroll prospects. If I had a Pro account, my options here would be to visit or visit and connect. And those would be a much more simplified menu. Now, if you've been using Dux Soup for a while and you're not seeing this, you can swap between the simplified menu and the more advanced menu just by going into your Dux Soup options here up in the top right-hand corner. There we are. So at the moment, I've got mine set up to be a regular or simplified menu. I can open all of the other options if I want to by going to the expert options here. And then I get access to all of those menu items that you're probably familiar with. So if I just, if you've been using Dux Soup in the past, so now I would now have my visit or visit and connect as well as the enrollment. But what we've tried to do is simplify the UI there to make it a little bit more accessible, especially for new users who are maybe not needing to have all of those options available to them. And yeah, the way that you swap it is you just go to the user tab here under your Dux Soup options, and then you choose whether you want the regular or the simplified menu or the expert menu there if you so desire. For now, I'm going to swap back to the simplified menu, so I have the slightly more compact menu items there. So that's what we need to do to find our list. We go and carry out a search, and we go and carry out, yeah, we create our list one way or another. And we've now got some bright sunshine, having it been raining for the last few minutes, but there we go. Right, now I need to pop back to my slides. So we've done our targets, and we basically have to wait for the Dux Soup icon to turn green, and then we're ready to go. We're then ready to run our chosen actions. And in this case, we're going to be looking at enrolling some people into a campaign. But before we can put people into our campaign, we want to define our campaign. So we want to define our campaign. So the campaigns are a Dux Soup Turbo feature. And you basically go to the Dux Dash to build your campaigns, and always build your messaging in your campaigns appropriately for your target audience. Think of the criteria that you've used to find your prospects, and then build your campaigns out from there. You can create as many campaigns as you want. There's a little tip here at the bottom, which is something that I see intermittently from users. Do not bombard prospects with multiple messages in a short period of time. Don't send 3, 4, 5 messages in a week. There's a number of different reasons for this. One is that prospects will identify that as spam, and they will label you as spamming if they think that it is such that type of messaging. It also looks relatively unnatural. Oh, I've got a new contact. Whoa, I've had 5 messages in a week. Yeah, that's not really how the real world works, is it? So give more time than you think in your follow-up messages. Give longer spaces between them to make it look more natural. There's just more chance of a genuine interaction with a prospect if you spread out your campaigns longer than you think you need to. Also remember that a lot of people don't log on to LinkedIn every day. You know, okay, a lot of us are working on LinkedIn every day because that's what we do for a living. There's many users who will log on to LinkedIn maybe once a week, maybe once every couple of weeks. And the worst thing that can happen is you get a new connection, you accept a connection request on a Monday, you log on a week later, and then you've got 5 messages from the same people. It just looks very unprofessional and somewhat unnatural for that to happen. So just take that into account when you're building your campaigns. Always spread it out longer than you think you need to. So let's go and define a campaign here. Oh, there we go. Let's snip back to this one here because we're in our new and nice shiny new account and we've not got any campaigns here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new campaign. I'm going to give it my new campaign a name. I'm just going to call this webinar, and we're going to tag the profiles with the ID when I'm enrolling, just so I've got traceability as to who's gone into that campaign. I'm going to call it just a demo. Right, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to put in a connection request message. Now, whilst I'm demoing this today, please be aware we've got some upcoming changes which are quite exciting as to how the campaigns are going to look. So keep an eye out for those in the coming days. I'll give you a little bit of a preview as I go through this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put a connection request message in here. Let's paste that in there. There we go. So here I've got a connection request message. Hi, and then I've got a space, and then I'm using the _FN_ here, this marker to pull out the first name of the prospect. Now, I then put a message in here. I noticed from your profile you have an interest in growth hacking, and you're also based here in the Netherlands. We'd like to connect, share ideas in the future. So that's my connection request message, my opening gambit to reach out to a prospect. Of course, you would build your own message based upon your target audience, putting in things there which hopefully will stimulate people to at least look at your profile. That's the absolute basic you're trying to achieve, that they look at your profile and then hopefully they see something in your profile that engages with them. What I'm going to do then is I'm now going to add my first follow-up action. The first follow-up action I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Dux Soup to actually auto visit their profile after 1 day. So there we go. I'm going to ask it to carry out an auto visit to their profile. So once they've accepted, Dux Soup will open their profile. And then what I'm going to say is like, let's do 4 days after connecting here. I'm then going to just send them a quick acknowledgement. Thanks for accepting my connection request. So I've got a message here. Let's paste that one in there. There we are. Thanks for accepting my request. It's nice to be part of your network. Be aware, my connection request here, I'm keeping under my 300 characters. That's the LinkedIn limit there on a connection request. Carrying out an auto visit just so they can see that I visited them. And then my follow-up message number 1 is going to go 4 days after connecting. I can now add more and more activities here. So maybe let's go 14 days. So 2 weeks after connecting, I'm now going to carry out another auto visit to them. They'll get another notification that I visited them. And then I'm going to add another step here. I'm going to add in another follow-up message here just a little bit later. Yeah, let's do that another week later or so. And I'm just going to send out another message here. There we go. Let's copy and paste that in there. And again, it's more a conversational message. It's sort of asking about an event that's coming up, whether they're interested. Now I've got here the basis of a start of a campaign. There we go. I've just saved that, and I've now got here my webinar, this demo one here that I could now start to enroll prospects into and start to get people to connect with me. And now, of course, I would now need to make sure I find people who have an interest in growth hacking and based in the Netherlands, based upon my connection request message there. So that's how I'm going to now reach out to people accordingly. And we can do that now. So we've done here, we've gone in and we've defined our campaigns. Now, remember, we can create as many campaigns as we like. And the other thing to bear in mind is that what's coming later this week with the update that we're going to see is currently we have to start, as it is at the moment, we have to start a campaign with a connection request. what we're going to see with the new version that's coming in the next day or two is you're going to be able to start the campaign with an auto visit, a connection request, or indeed an in-mail. So keep an eye out for that. We're going to see some subtle changes here in this particular thing. We've got some documentation already to explain how that's going to look. And as soon as that update is ready, it'll be available and your system will automatically update to reflect that. And also the way that the delays are going to be calculated, you'll see a little bit of a change there as well. So keep an eye out for that. And all of your existing campaigns will be migrated across correctly. And then you can play around with them and change them as well. So really excited about seeing that update coming later this week. So here we are. We've got our basis for our new campaign here. So let's go back to our slides and have a look and see what the next options are. So our next steps here. So step four is to enroll prospects and to manage our campaigns. We've got a few options as to how we enroll people. We can do it individually via the widget. We can do it in bulk via the extension, or indeed we could do it via the CRM, and we'll touch on that right at the end of the webinar. We'll use the Dux dash to monitor where we are with the progress of our campaigns. And remember, if anybody responds to you during the course of the campaign, they will not get further campaign messages unless you take action. The default is that if they reply to you, you need to do something in order for them to either get further messages or for you to then message them directly. And one other thing to remember is you can't enroll a prospect into the same campaign twice. So just bear that one in mind as well. So we'll now go through how we enroll people into a campaign. So let's go back to here. There we go. So let's go into our sales navigator. Now I've got a saved search here, which I'm going to use in order to do this. I need to just update this a second. I've got geography here as the European Union, and I need to change that to the Netherlands. There we go. So here we go. I've now got a search list here, search results of people who are based in the Netherlands. They've got an interest in growth hacking in this case here. And if I scroll down here, I've actually removed people that I previously contacted or viewed. And so now I'm ready to enroll people into my campaign. And I can do that here via the widget on the right-hand side, which is not updating at the moment. For some reason, that one's not updating. I'll show you that on the other one in a second. I can bulk enroll people here from this environment here by hitting the Enroll button here. Now I just check which campaign I want to put them into. In this case, I've got my webinar campaign that I created just now. And now I need to define how many people I want to enroll. Now, there are some default settings which you can go in and play around with, but I think by default, Dux Soup will send out 25 connection requests a day. You can always go into your menu and change that, and you can look into all the safe settings of LinkedIn and all how you keep your account safe in our webinar, in our blog posts, sorry. But here you want to think about how many people you want to enroll into your campaign. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to enroll the first 50 people. Now, if any of these people have been enrolled into this campaign before, they will not get my my invitation. Here we go. I'm going to enroll 50 people. If I press the OK button here now, Dux Soup will now start at the top of the page, and it'll start enrolling from the top. If anyone's been enrolled there before, it'll skip past them. It's going to find the first 50 on this list that have never been enrolled into this campaign before. Now, this is a brand new campaign. It's a brand new account. So actually, it should just enroll the first 50 here. And what we'll see now is we'll basically see Dux Soup queuing up a bunch of invitations to go out to these people, sending out those invitations. And all of that activity will then happen in the background of Chrome, in the background of my browser. So we'll see, we'll just leave this to run a second so you can actually see the process of people being enrolled. And we should see the dialog pop up. There we go, enrolled Floris. And now it's going to start scrolling down, and Gonzalo and Bart. So we can now see these enrolling actions happening as we speak. And how do we manage that then now? So what we can do is we can go to our Dux dash here. We've got our campaign here. We've got the webinar, this demo campaign. If we go to our funnel flow now, and we go to our appropriate campaign, if we go to my appropriate campaign here, we can see in the few seconds that I've been talking then, Dux Soup has already enrolled 13 people into that campaign. Now, if I was to refresh this page again now, we probably see even more in there. This is like a live snapshot of who's been enrolled into the campaign. And if we leave this to run now over the coming minutes, we will then start to see some of those invites going out. And then hopefully in the ensuing period, we start to see people accepting, follow-ups being sent out, and also the people who are responding to me. And those are the people you need to keep an eye on, of course, because you want to know who's responded to you so you can take the appropriate action. Now, I don't have anybody who's actually gone into this campaign yet, so that's why we're not seeing anything in here. But yeah, in the coming minutes, we'll start to see some invites going out, and then maybe we'll start to see some responses coming back. But it's as easy as that process from end to end to install Dux Soup, to define our campaign, to find our list of prospects, and to enroll those prospects into a campaign. And now we can just leave Dux Soup to perform my chosen actions accordingly. It's as straightforward as that. The Dux Dash gives us, also a list of what's queued up here. So here I can see, here we are with 24 connection requests queued up so far. So it's still basically enrolling some people here. On this page here, it's still going through that process. I've got 24 queued up so far, maybe even more now. And then as it starts to execute those, then I will start to see here under the activity log, those actions being completed. So as my connection requests start to go out, we'll see a new tab open for each connection request as Dux Soup opens that page, mimics the actions of a human being, clicking the mouse, etc., copying and pasting my connection request message accordingly. So this way we have full visibility as to what's going on there, and how everything, we've got 31 now queued up, is still going through and carrying out those actions. As straightforward as that. So if we now go back to our slides, well, I'll minimize that so it's now actually not going to do anything. It's going to go into snooze mode, but yeah, let's go back here into our slideshows. So we've gone through the enrollment options. We haven't touched on the CRM stuff yet. We'll look at that in a second. You can enroll people from the widget on the side, but you can also do it individually. If you open a profile, you get the widget opening on the side there, and you can choose from the drop-down box which campaign to put an individual into. So we have that option as well. And then the fifth step we were going to talk about today was your CRM connection, or your data, as it were. So we have direct integrations with Pipedrive, with HubSpot and SharpSpring CRMs. We will be integrating more in the future. I was discussing that with the developer earlier this week as well. So we're looking at possibilities there, whether that's a CRM or an ATS system that's next. We'll have to wait and see. These can be enabled via the Dux Dash, and I'll show you how that looks in a second. We also have integrations with Zapier and Make.com, and that gives you possibilities to connect with literally hundreds of other platforms as well. I've seen users using, for example, Salesforce or Zendesk, or a whole multitude of different platforms, even some stuff as simple as and straightforward as Google Sheets, for example. So you can have all of that data, all of the visit data and the messaging data, etc., the Dux Soup is gathering for you, go into your appropriate platform. Every LinkedIn profile you open with Dux Soup, the data that Dux Soup gathers is available for you to download from within your browser, but you can also use the webhooks and Zapier and Make to gather that data automatically. So how does that look in real life? So if I'm just on my other account here, if I go to my Dux Dash here, just to show you how this looks in real life, how the CRM connections look here. If I go to my CRM connections here, you can see here that I've got an account linked with Pipedrive, I've got one with SharpSpring, and I've got one with HubSpot here. And just to show you how that looks, if I just show you, for example, Pipedrive, I've enabled the integration with Pipedrive here. So I'm asking for only connected profiles to end up in my Pipedrive account. So that's, in other words, only first degree connections. I'm asking Dux Soup to create activities for inbound LinkedIn messages. So people who are messaging me in LinkedIn, I'll see that in Pipedrive. I'll get a notification when somebody's become a first degree connection. And I'm asking Dux Soup to update the contact in Pipedrive after somebody becomes a first degree connection, because you can always see more data when somebody becomes a first degree connection. And how that manifests and realizes itself here in Pipedrive. If we go to my contacts here, let's have a look here. Let's wait for this to load. There we go. So here we can see these are my most recent new connections here in LinkedIn. I can see the update time, so that's the last time that Dux Soup grabbed data. And if I just take an example here, There we go. If we have a look here, we can see here that this is one of my colleagues, Dux Soup. When you install the connector between Dux Soup and Pipedrive, and the same goes for HubSpot as well, and SharpSpring, Dux Soup creates these new fields, so LinkedIn title, ID, profile, etc., etc. These fields get created in your CRM environment, and then the data comes across accordingly. And all of that then means that you can then also see the message exchanges that have happened with that individual within your Pipedrive environment. As well as that, we can also enroll prospects into campaigns and indeed message them from within the CRM then. And this is the same in HubSpot as well. So here you can see I could enroll this prospect into a campaign if I wanted to. There we are. I can just select one of my campaigns here. This is my other account, which was a whole load more campaigns there. So yeah, we can enroll the profile into a campaign from here, or indeed we could send them a message. There we go, and message our prospects accordingly. One of the other things you can do is you can actually do that in bulk from the CRM here. So we can here, for example, select multiple profiles all at once, and then we could bulk message them or bulk enroll them from here as well, queuing up those activities to be carried out on our behalf in the LinkedIn environment. So if we get back to our slides then, back to the slideshow. So this is our checklist, our 5 steps to going from zero to getting up and running with our Dux Soup and LinkedIn automation. First of all, install Dux Soup. If you've not used it before, you get 14 days of the full bells and whistles version, the turbo version, to have a play around with and to explore all of those, all of the functionality that's available to you. So install Dux Soup from the Chrome Web Store. Then we want to define or create our lists of targets and prospects. Have a look at our blog posts for that, because there's lots of information there about the lists and how you can filter lists, how you can generate your own custom lists as well. So we've got lots of supporting documentation there. How to create a campaign, a step-by-step guide we've talked through there. You get a pop-up guide as well when you first install as well. That will change slightly with the new version, but that will give you more possibilities to be able to explore all of those different ways of reaching out to people within LinkedIn. And once we've created our campaigns, it's a simple step of then enrolling your prospects into your campaign and then managing them, keeping an eye on the funnel flow, see where your prospects have reached. And then if you want to go that extra step and have all of your data appearing in your CRM or whatever environment or platform you so desire, you can then integrate directly with HubSpot, Pipedrive or SharpSpring, or indirectly via Zapier or Make.com. That was everything I wanted to talk about today. So I'm hoping that Beth has got a few questions ready for me. But before we get to the questions, just want to mention the webinar that's coming up in 2 weeks' time. Now, bear in mind, we've got a clock change between now and then as well, but it'll still be at the same time. So, it'll be 4 o'clock BST, 5 o'clock Central European summertime. At last here in the Northern Hemisphere, edging towards some slightly warmer weather, hopefully. In 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be looking at Dux Soup in combination with Sales Navigator, how you can make the most of it, what options you've got available within the Sales Navigator environment. We see a lot of people who are doing lead generation activities in wanting to do it at scale, operate in Sales Navigator, because that's where you get more possibilities for searching and filtering and reaching out via emails and also creating lead lists. So that's going to be the topic in 2 weeks' time. So do register via the website as usual. It's all there and available as usual. Beth, do we have some questions?
We have got a few questions. Some I've been able to answer as we've gone. I think starting at the beginning, someone's started a free trial and it's in their Chrome browser. How do they link it to their LinkedIn account, which is also open?
Yep, so basically you don't actually link it with an account. All you do is you make sure that you're logged on to the correct LinkedIn account in that environment. So here, this is the one that I did the fresh install against. And in this case here, I have made sure that I am logged on to my LinkedIn account here. And this is the LinkedIn account that I would always use then against this Chrome account. If you start swapping LinkedIn accounts, once you're logged into your Chrome or Google account, then actually you'll start getting failure messages when your campaigns start. So basically think your one Google or Chrome account per LinkedIn account, because of the way that Dux Soup is performing actions against whichever LinkedIn account you're logged into. So just think of it that way. You don't have to go and link it, you just have to make sure that it's the correct account that's always logged on against that in that Google environment, should we say.
Okay, thanks, Giles. And so if this, as it's a Chrome extension, there's a couple of questions here we can cover together. Do I need to always have Dux Soup up? And if I have a live campaign, turn off the computer, then turn it on again, does the system know where to continue?
So there's a few things there. So there's one of the things to remember is, yes, so Dux Soup is mimicking human behavior on the platform. So in order to mimic the clicks of the mouse on the screen, Chrome has to be open, somewhere. Now you can shrink it down in size and tuck it behind other things if you want. You know, it doesn't have to be full screen and at the front. It can be in the background. But yeah, in order for Dux Soup to be able to perform the actions, Chrome has to be open. A couple of other things that need to be there. We also have the planner here. So the planner here, only when the planner is active will Dux Soup perform actions on your behalf. But if you've queued up activity, basically whenever the computer is on and Chrome is open, Dux Soup will just carry on from where it left off. So here under my Dux dash here, I've got some queued activities. These will start to be executed in due course. As and when it gets, yeah, I've got my 50 connection requests all queued up here, ready to go. So if I leave this running for the next few minutes, what we'll start to see is a new tab open periodically as it starts sending out those connection requests. Yeah, so it's basically Chrome has to be open, and yeah, the extension has to be active. If you turn off the extension, of course, nothing will get executed.
Okay, and then did you answer the thing? So I was busy reading other questions. And if you turn your computer off and on again, does it know where to continue campaigns?
Yes, absolutely. So if you've got if you've enrolled, say for example, today, what day are we today? It's Tuesday. So say today you enrolled 200 people into a campaign, and it's sending out maybe 25 invites a day. So over the coming 8 days, it'll just send out 25 invites whenever your computer is on. It will know where to, yeah, here under your queued activity, it'll just look to see what the next thing to process will be. If you're wanting to enroll people, your computer, yeah, ideally needs to be on while you're enrolling. So you go to here and you enroll activity, then yeah. But if you turn your computer off partway through, or it goes into hibernation mode, Dux Soup will snooze and carry on from where you left off. Now, one thing to remember actually, and it's quite a good little setting to think about, if you've got, you know, for example, a number of tabs open like this, one thing we sort of try to encourage people to do, because it makes it slightly easier to keep an eye on, if you go into your Chrome settings here and you go to, where is it, on startup, if you make sure that you have this enabled, continue where you left off. So for example, you're in the search result and you can't remember how far you got through that search result with enrollments or whatever. If you make sure you always continue where you left off, and when you go back to your search result here and want to continue, Dux Soup will just start from the top of that page. And in this case, I'm on page 3. So yeah, it would start at the top of page 3 when I reach out again. So yeah, in your Chrome settings, advised to go to your on startup, continue where you left off, and then Dux Soup will continue from wherever. If there's an activity on pause or you need to trigger it to start again.
Okay. Thanks, Giles. So when you get a reply, will it stop the automation?
Yeah, actually, I'll show you this in my other account here because it's slightly easier. If I go to my Dux dash here and I go to the funnel flow, yeah, the other one's a new account, so I don't have any data to show you there. So, but if I go here and I go to just somewhere where I know I've got some data, this is just a test campaign that I ran a while ago. And what I can see here is I can see how many people I've enrolled, invited, accepted, etc. Here under the responded block, nothing will go out to these people unless I take action. So here, for example, I can see who has responded. Now I can also grab this data, I can copy this data and download it if I want. But here I can see, for example, not only who has responded, but what they have responded with. This will load up in a second. It's probably because I restarted just now. And any second now we'll see the response. There we are. So we can see here, the response that came from this individual. Now, in order for that messages of that campaign to still go out, so I see this response, I come in, yeah, okay, I want them to still get my messages in this campaign, I can hit the reflow button. I can put them back into the campaign until they reply again. Now, they may also have sent me a message saying, hey, yeah, reach out to me on this telephone number or this email address, in which case I'd probably want to qualify them in. And that would then see them hit the end of my funnel here. I could then see my enrollments all through to how many people have qualified in my campaign. They may have told me to go away, maybe politely, maybe less so, in which case I'd qualify them out so I don't bother them again. But they may have asked me a direct question, in which case I would click on the LinkedIn icon here on the far right-hand side and message them directly in LinkedIn, because that would take me straight to their LinkedIn profile. Dux Soup monitors both your regular LinkedIn mailbox and your Sales Navigator mailbox if you have them for responses. So it brings all of that data together, and the default setting is that Dux Soup will not continue to send campaign messages once they have responded to you, and then it's up to you to take action as to what happens next.
Okay, and how many people can you enroll in one campaign?
There is no limit as to how many people you can enroll into one campaign. However, remember, you will be sending out a limited number of invites per day, per week, etc., etc. So it's up to you how much activity you want to queue up at one go, and whether you want to basically clog up all of your queued activity with thousands of invites. If I just show you here under my, I've got the full menu options here available under my usual account. Here under my throttling settings here at the moment, I'm currently sending out 40 connection requests a day. Now, I started off sending out, I think it was 20 or 25 at the beginning of February, I think it was, and I've been slowly building that up, and I've not had any issues with regards any limits placed on my since the 10th of February. We see here the latest time I got that pop up to say I'm out of invites for now. But what we have is if we go to our Dux Soup homepage here, and we go to our resources and our blog posts, and maybe we can add this into the messaging thing. If I go into here and I type in this one here, so using LinkedIn automation safely, we've got an article here which updated in December, which takes you through everything we know about daily limits, how you keep your account safe, what influences how many invites you can send out, etc., etc. Let's try and stick that into the chat box so that it can go to everybody. There we go. Let me get that. I think that's gone to the entire audience. There we go. Hopefully everyone can see that. That's the link to this particular article. Have a read through that, because I think you may find that useful in answering your own, in helping understand that. But you can actually enroll as many people as you like, but it just means you'll clog up your queue with lots and lots of invites.
Okay, just cover some of these. I've got a few about CRMs, which I think we've covered, in connecting to CRMs. Is there a way of dealing with people who visit my profile with this application?
Absolutely, yes. We can, let's go back here. Where are we? There we go. So one of the lists that Dux Soup runs against is who viewed your profile. So here, this particular page here, if we wait long enough, the Dux Soup icon will turn green, and I can run my chosen Dux Soup activity against this list. Now, what we could do here is we could auto visit those people. We could scan the list and gather data from this list. We can basically, run our chosen Dux Soup actions against this list as well. So this is also one of those places we can go in and get Dux Soup to auto, oh, there we are, it's just turned green. So I could now say, yeah, I could visit these profiles, or I could enroll them into a campaign. I could also scan the profiles. We've not touched on scanning in this particular webinar, on this particular session, because yeah, we've talked about data, I think, towards the back end of last year in a previous webinar. But what we can do here is we can scan profiles, and scanning profiles allows us to gather high-level data from the list that we see on the page there, which we can then download and do something with. So we get, you know, their first name, their last name, their LinkedIn URL, where they work, and stuff like that. So we can use, you know, we can run Dux Soup against this list as well, exactly the same as we can against other lists in LinkedIn.
Okay. I've talked about maximum numbers you can enroll in one day, haven't we? How do I stop Dux Soup if I do a search and want to stop it?
So if you've kicked Dux Soup off and you wanted to stop it, so say you've gone into a search here and you're enrolling a bunch of people. We have a stop. There's a stop button here. You can just press stop robot and it will stop whatever actions you've asked it to carry out. You can also turn your campaigns off if you're like, you know what, I've made a mistake in my campaign. I want to stop the campaign and I want to make sure that people don't get those messages. You can go into your campaigns, and now this is the account where I've got lots of campaigns available. And you can see here we can turn campaigns on and off. Whenever you turn a campaign on and off, make sure you press the save button in the bottom left-hand corner. So you can turn campaigns individually on and off. But also, if you really want to stop it, you can just turn off the extension, for example, if you don't want it to interrupt your activities. Maybe you're presenting something, you don't want the pop-ups to appear here and there. So you can also do that as well. But you also have control with the planner. So here under the planner, we can determine exactly when we're happy for Dux Soup to run. So at the moment, you can see here, what time is it for me? Yeah, it's 13 minutes to 6. So yeah, currently Dux Soup on this particular one will be in snooze mode because I don't want to send out any messages from here while I'm presenting at the moment. So yeah, you have a few options there as to how you stop the robot. But yeah, if it's running in the browser, you click on the icon and you press the stop robot button. And if it's sending out messages and you don't want to send out messages, you can pause or turn off that campaign. And if you want to stop activities going out that you've maybe queued up, you can always go into your queued activity here. So here I've got a bunch of activities that are queued up. You can even go in here and you can delete these activities from your list so they will not get executed. And you can break that down per campaign or indeed per action. So you can always see what's due to happen and take those actions out so they don't go out to certain people perhaps.
Okay. Also, can you use, is it just Chrome or can you use Safari browsers?
You can use a whole bunch of different browsers, and if we go to our support pages for Dux Soup, I think we have a list here. If we go to the support pages and you go to the other browsers article here, we have some instructions here as to how you can run it against other browsers. Basically, any browser that supports content from the Chrome Web Store, you can install and run Dux Soup against. We've got some examples here. But yeah, the preferred is Chrome because that's what we do the majority of our testing against. But yeah, we've got some examples here as well. But if it's a Chrome platform browser, which a lot of browsers are these days, then yeah, and you can access the Chrome Web Store and log into the Chrome Web Store, you can install and run Dux Soup from there.
Okay, I think we're pretty much there.
In that case, I will just.
I'm assuming you can't. Can you get phone numbers for each? Can you get phone numbers for contacts?
Yeah, if it's available on the contact details for people, yeah. If we go to here, well, I'll tell you what. Let's show you how some downloaded data looks. So, but oh no, here we go. Here under Pipedrive. If we go into Pipedrive here, you can see here for some of these people here who appeared in Pipedrive. If that is available, if the phone number is available for those people, we can see that field there is being populated accordingly. Similar with email addresses, it's only, of course, showing those that it finds data for, of course. Not everybody makes their phone number visible. Not everybody makes their email address visible. So it just depends upon what data is available and depending on the privacy level that people have set for their contact information. So yes, Dux Soup does gather the phone number. You can download that as well into Excel format, into spreadsheet format, I should say, in CSV file. By going here in with your Dux Soup icon, you go to the download data button, and from here you can then download, for example, your visit data here. Let's just show you how that looks. And this here is just an example of all of the data that Dux Soup can gather for you during all of the visits that you carry out. So if we take this example here, so these are the fields. So I get the visit time, the profile, the URLs, first name, middle name, last name, number of connections, a summary, if it's visible, email, phone number, instant messenger, Twitter, etc., etc. And even further, I can get skills, I can get previous jobs. And if I go far enough to the right-hand side here, all of this data is available. Eventually we'll get there. Somebody's had a lot of jobs, so that's why this goes a long way to the right. There you can get education as well, if that's the data that you want to gather. So yeah, all of this information is available depending on what you want to do with it. Cool, right, so let's go back to the slideshow. Just for one last time, I'm just going to say our checklist is install Dux Soup, define your list of targets, create your campaigns, enroll your prospects and manage your campaigns, and then deal with your data. 2 weeks time, we're doing Dux Soup with Sales Navigator, touching on all of those possibilities. And for anybody who needs additional support over and above all of the content that we've got, all of our support articles and our blog posts and previous webinars, if you need specific help and you want some help in putting together your campaigns or your strategy or process, you can book a booster session or a technical session via our website. Just go to our support pages and look up booster or technical session, and that'll take you through how to do that there. That's everything from me. I'm going to hand back to Beth to sign off.
Just to say thank you, Giles, for all that information. It's always very useful, and I think it helps a lot of people there. And thanks for all the good questions. And yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.